about their 2016 matchup. Do you remember exactly how that match kind of came to be, or was that some?
Yeah, I think it probably started with Gordon, I think, calling Felipe out. Felipe was a world champion, and Gordon, if I remember rightly, was around 185 pounds. He'd won an EBI, I think, at that time. And he wanted a no time limit match. If I don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what he wanted. And Felipe ended up agreeing to a 1 hour match. Felipe didn't want a no time limit. Don't quote me on that, I may be wrong, but that's my memory of it. And it ended up being, I believe, about a 45-minute match. Gordon did very well at the start, but was physically overpowered. Felipe was quite a bit bigger and stronger in those days. And Felipe had a beautiful back take off. Gordon had hit about 6 or 7 nice heel hook entries. But as he started to fatigue, the Ashigarami control got looser and looser. And Felipe recognized that. He's very smart. He's tactically very intelligent fighter, and saw that the back was being exposed for longer than it should be, and hit a beautiful misdirectional escape off one of Gordon's heel hooks, took his back and finished a beautiful stranglehold. So it was an impressive display of resilience on Felipe's part. Early on in the match, he got swept and mounted. I think he was kind of shocked by this. And he managed to stay calm in some tight heel hooks, and showed good passing pressure. And I remember it being a pretty long and physical match. And I remember Gordon afterwards saying, like, man, Felipe felt like literally like 3 times stronger than me. And so then Gordon started working on his physicality. And then the next time they fought was in ADCC. At that stage, Gordon was still a weight division lighter than Felipe. But he said when they fought, he felt the physicality had evened out. They were of comparable physical strength now, even though I think Felipe was 1 weight division above, so whatever poundage he had over Gordon. There was a lot of similarities there. Gordon started well, he had a nice takedown, got top position, maintained top position for most of the match, but then made almost identical tactical mistake out of cross Ashigarami and got his back taken, almost like an action replay of the first one. I think that might have been Gordon's hard-headedness trying to rectify the previous error, and having it compound upon itself. So I know he was furious with the result. But afterwards he said he felt no danger through the match, and you could see his confidence was rising. And I got the impression Felipe was looking at him in a different way now. It's like, this is no longer just some loudmouth American upstart. This guy's a serious opponent. And I think they both walked off the mat looking at each other that day like, we're going to meet again, and it's probably going to be a hard match. Like, we're both growing. Felipe's changed a lot. Gordon's changed a lot. They know a lot about each other from 4 years ago. And the big question now is going to be who's changed more. Both athletes have made a lot of progress. They're both active competitors. Technically, I believe Felipe would have evolved a lot. He's an intelligent, hard-working kid. So I think he would have changed a lot. He would have he's going to have new weapons that he'll be bringing to the table. And Gordon, of course, has evolved a lot in that time. So there's a lot of knowns because they have fought twice before, but there's a lot of unknowns about this fight. It's been a long time since they faced each other, and Felipe has shown some new weapons in the no-gi matches that he's had since then, and Gordon's shown some new weapons. And how those new weapons will interact with each other, that's anybody's guess. We know how the old weapons interacted. The question now is how do the new weapons interact?